Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We know that in diplomacy you have to be tactful. You have to understand the situation and to find the right time to raise the right issue with the right person, okay, and in the right manner. In this case, you have, let's say, an issue that you want to discuss with your counterpart. You have to wait for the proper time when you think that issue would benefit you the most. But first you have to see that as being an issue, then to make a decision that that issue must be discussed with your interlocutor. So, in this case we have Julian Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks, and he's a citizen of Australia. He's an Australian citizen. He is right now confined in Great Britain and there's waiting extradition to United States of America, where he's going to be facing about 175 years in prison if found guilty, and he will probably be found guilty for violating the Espionage Act of 30 something, I think 32 or something like that. Anyway, the issue with this is I haven't heard Australia. This is the first time. They might have done it before, but I'm not unaware of it. That Australia finally steps up and raises the question of Assange being prosecuted by the Americans with Joe Biden. I haven't heard this. I heard all kind of human rights organizations, individuals, VIPs, people of interest, politicians, people that, stuck their neck out for this guy, but not his country. Very strangely, and not very strangely if we know how the world works. Obviously, Australia is under the thumb of the United States, so it wouldn't say anything. But what's changed now? Is it because another change occurred, and that is four great international media conglomerates issued a letter to Joe Biden, George Bush, yes, George is still there. He lingers in the White House with his... Anyway, so they sent Joe Biden a letter. I think it was the New York Times, Le Monde, Le Pays, and Die Welt. I don't know, it was a German, a Spanish, a British, and an American important news outlets asking for George Assange. Julian, I got something with George. I don't know, maybe sex was good with George. I don't know. Anyway, Julian Assange to be, freed or avoid prosecution, avoid extradition, all that. And this article comes from Republic World from November 30th, 2022. Australia steps up calls for US to drop WikiLeaks charges. Australia's Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, I don't know, you know who that is, said he recently told US President Joe Biden's administration to bring WikiLeaks founder and Australian citizen Julian Assange's prosecution to a close. Do you mean to complete it or to drop it? Australian Prime Minister, right? Albanese's comments Wednesday to Parliament appear to be an escalation of Australia's diplomatic pressure on the United States to drop spying charges against the 54-year-old who is resisting extradition from Britain. And I'm quoting, "I have raised this personally with representatives of the United States government. My position is clear and has been made clear to the US administration that it is time that this matter be brought to a close." Again, what do you mean? Do you mean speed up the process and get the verdict, charge the guy and convict him? Is that what you mean? Or drop the charges? Which one is it? Bring this to a close. Very evasive. To me at least. Maybe I'm a little bit tired, but maybe you can explain that. This is an Australian citizen. Oh, citizen, really? He just woke up. Okay, Albanese added, I don't have sympathy for Mr. Assange's action on a whole range of matters, but you have to reach a point whereby what is the point of continuing this legal action which could be caught up now for many years into the future? So again, I don't have sympathy for Mr. Assange's actions on a whole range of matters, but you have to reach a point whereby what is the point of ... continuing this legal action which could be caught up now for many years into the future? Question mark. I don't fucking understand what this guy said here. Anyway, Albanese did not say whether he discussed Assange directly with Biden when the pair held a bilateral meeting on the sidelines a Cambodian summit 2 weeks ago, probably at the Cambodian summit. But Albanese said he had advocated for Assange recently in meetings. Albanese compared Assange's treatment to that of former US Army intelligence analyst Chelsea Manning, who the Prime Minister said was now able to participate freely in US society. Well, it's because US prosecutors allege Assange helped Manning steal classified diplomatic cables and military files that WikiLeaks later published, putting lives at risk. Then US President Barack Obama commuted Manning's 35-year sentence to 7 years, which allowed her release in 2017. International news outlet that cooperated with WikiLeaks to publish confidential US State Department cables in 2010, the New York Times, the Guardian, Le Monde, Le Pays, and Der Spiegel published an open letter this week calling for Assange prosecution to be dropped. This is clear as day and night. Albanese spoke in response to independent lawmaker Monique Ryan's question if the Australian government would intervene to bring Assange home. So that's been for a long time and they didn't do shit. And now they did it because those four guys started, New York Times, The Guardian, Le Monde, Le Pays and Spiegel, which are actually 5. Albanese's government has been circumspect about Assange's prosecution since it was elected in May. Ministers' criticism have been restrained to phrases such as the case had dragged on for too long. When the British government approved Assange's extradition in June, Albanese resisted calls that he publicly demand the United States drop the prosecution. So you see, I think this guy is just a weasel, Albanese. I think somehow, somewhere, this would bring him popularity, and in a democracy you need that. That's all you need. To fool people, they vote for you and then fuck off. I do whatever I want for 4 years, 5 years, depending how long my term it will be. So it seems like this guy needs some popularity and he just woke up, god damn it, I gotta do this shit. Okay, how about guys, you end that thing. What do you mean you end? Again, I didn't see it clear. I saw the other guys, the 5 media outlets saying exactly what they mean. This guy, this dragged too long, you know. I think it's time for this to come to an end. What do you mean end? Being hanged? Let free? Kept in prison forever? What do you mean? And this is what he adds. Maybe he is gonna provide more information. There are some people who think that if you put things in capital letters on Twitter and put an exclamation mark, that somehow makes it more important. It doesn't. Okay, you didn't say anything so far, fucking politician. Next. Again, I intend to lead a government that engages diplomatically and appropriately with our partners, Albanese added. Again, didn't say anything. Alright, well, maybe you guys figured out what this guy means. But I think he is like any politician that covers his ass. He's saying something, so he's got a door here. He wants to go through that door, but when he looks back, he wants to have like 15 other doors open in case bad things happen after he enters that room. So he enters the room through one door, but if he finds over there a few lions ready to eat him, when he turns around and he wants to go out, he doesn't want to see that door closed. He wants to see like 10 or 15 doors wide open for him to get out, to weasel out, to say, that's actually not what I meant. You took it out of context. No, I didn't mean that. This is what I meant. And gaslighting and all that. I think this is what this weasel is doing right now. He doesn't come out now. After how many years the guy was in Ecuadorian, Jesus Christ, Ecuadorian embassy. How many years this guy was a fugitive? 10 or something like that? 9 or something? And now you wake up, Australia. That tells you what? Who's the weasel of who? I don't want to hear, well, our partners. No, United States are not your partners. United States are your masters. Okay? So when the United States talks about Australia, it's not our partners. It's our weasels, our vassal states. You got that? And I'm talking about Japan, South Korea, Australia, New Zealand by definition, you know, and then Europe, entire Europe, plus Great Britain, because we have to include that over there too, and other little weasels around the world. That's why you have countries that are not vassal states. Like, for instance, Pakistan is also in the same boat because they receive a lot of aid, billions of dollars, just to you were with us. So you have India, no, that's not a vassal state. You have China, not a vassal state. You have Russia, not a vassal state. Iran, not a vassal state. North Korea, not a vassal state. Many others, African countries, not a vassal state. South Africa, many in South America, because they were so many times by the master that they feel like throwing up when they hear that name. And many in Asia. So, you know, so our partners, if you can't raise a question for 9 years with your partner and ally regarding a Australian citizen, that tells you that your relationship, you are a subordinate. That's what you are. You are a vassal state. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.